Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm on the coordinating committee of the Portland formation of the International League of People Struggle, a democratic and anti-imperialist formation spanning across over 350 organizations around the world. The ILPS Portland formation expresses indignation against this clear case of political suppression that our comrade and friend, a longtime peace activist and advocate for the Filipino people, is facing. Let us be clear. What has happened to our community member is not an exceptional case. There is a long history of the fascist Filipino government retaliating against human rights activists. Regardless of whether they are Filipino or not, anyone who dares speak up against them is considered a legitimate target for attack. This political suppression of US-based activists happens with the full-throated support of our elected officials here in the United States. Under President Biden's Countering Domestic Terrorism program, this initiative claims to single out white nationalists, but in reality, it has been used to target activists who demand real solutions that address the root issues of the masses. One of the CDT's program's pillars is an enhancement of the information systems used to track so-called terrorism and share with other entities, including our so-called foreign allies. Is this enhanced system where the Philippine Bureau of Immigration got the false information that Copeland attended a rally in 2022? We demand answers from Merkley, and we demand answers from all of our other elected officials who represent us. I will point out one last thing. The reason why these repressive tactics are used is an attempt to dissuade and intimidate people from speaking up. This is the case with Brandon Lee, who survived an assassination attempt, and this is the case with student activists who occupied their campuses in protest of the genocide in Gaza, who face threats of suspension and expulsion, as well as the educators who dare speak up for Palestine and face termination from their jobs. This is happening because our movements threaten the rotten system. So do not despair. This is more reason to refuse to back down and fight back against these so-called counterterrorism programs. We call on all ILPS members and all people to take militant action against all forms of suppression. When we combine our forces and act together, we can better protect ourselves and defend people's struggle against imperialism and fascist reaction. Thank you.
Repeat after me. Defend the defenders.
Defend the defenders.
Defend the defenders.
Defend the defenders.
Thank you, Sarah. Next up, we have Lynn from the United Church of Christ, and I want to point out that Copeland has been a tireless organizer with church communities around the Portland area, including the UCC and the United Methodist Church. So we're very honored that Lynn is here to also share a statement of solidarity.
Thank you, and it's great to see you all here. I am so glad you're here. I am part of the clergy of the United Church of Christ, and our denomination has a sister sibling denomination, the United Church of the Philippines. For many years, not just the last 10, many years, we have heard the stories and the anguish that is coming out of the Philippines. Our conference here, this region, had a strong relationship with the conference in Mindanao. And we heard stories time and again of those people who have been kidnapped and tortured, murdered, ministers as well as lay people, Christian as well as Muslim, all kinds of people who have tried to speak out for justice in the Philippines. We are standing with them. We are standing with you as a denomination. In our local conference, we are very aware, and the local church I'm a member of, Clackamas United Church of Christ, has supported and invited Brandon Lee to speak earlier in the year in the spring. We are with you, and I need to say, Senator Merkley was my choice of senator. I think he does many good things, but Senator Merkley's job is not done. He cannot just sit back, because the job for justice is never done. There's always more to do. So we call on him to show I believe is his true colors. Show us what he has always spoken for before. Show us the justice that runs in his life, in his name. I call on him to be himself and to and do what is right to end this horrible injustice that goes on in the Philippines. Thank you.
Let's have a chant for the Philippine Human Rights Act to remind Merkley what it is that our ultimate demand is of him. Pass the Philippine Human Rights Act.
Pass the Philippine Human Rights Act!
Pass the Philippine Human Rights Act.
Pass the Philippine Human Rights Act!
Wonderful. Hopefully there are some staffers up there who can at least hear us from their office. So next I want to turn it over to Jacob from Sunrise. Jacob has been a tireless environmental activist in Portland and has worked closely with Copeland and was a former P-Chirp member as well.
Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. My name is Jacob Appenis. As Gabe said, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm a member of Sunrise PDX. We're a local youth-led climate justice organization fighting to end the era of fossil fuels. I'm here to extend an arm of solidarity to Copeland and all human rights defenders in Portland. I extend this arm on both behalf of Sunrise and as a friend of Copeland. Prior to organizing with Sunrise, I was a member of P-Chirp and worked with Copeland for about a year. During that time, I got to meet such a kind and thoughtful human being, always checking in on people, always waiting to crack jokes at a moment's notice, always able to ground us in why we're organizing and who we're organizing for. Copeland's knowledge of the Philippines history and the current humanitarian crisis is grand. I can't tell you the number of conversations I've had with Copeland where I've left both wiser, agitated, and emboldened for action. It's because of Copeland and the organizers at P-Chirp that I understand that the Philippines to be a place where land is rich, but the people are in poverty, are forced into poverty. It's a country where state-sanctioned oppression is rampant, and it is one of the most dangerous places in the world to be a land defender or environmental activist. It's also a country brimming with resistance, with human rights activists, with land defenders, labor organizers, and co-strugglers, fighting for their land, fighting for their wages, fighting for their freedom. We as Americans have a duty to fight for the Filipino people. While we struggle to pay rent or find meaningful work, while their schools and public services are deeply underfunded, and while our neighbors in the South struggle with a once-in-a-millennia hurricane, our government chooses to fund the weapons and military killing and oppressing innocent Filipinos. Our collective exploitation in the United States is leading to the oppression of the people in the Philippines, in Palestine, and across the global South. The only people winning in the system are the capitalists, are the warmongers, and the billionaire class. To fight back, it is just and necessary to hold international solidarity for all of our co-strugglers. It is scary for me to see my own friend oppressed by our government, to be blacklisted from a country he cares so deeply about, to be punished for doing nothing wrong except being on the right side of history is a crime, is a shame. Conversely, I feel empowered to know that we're making progress. They are scared of us. We're powerful enough that the United States government feels like oppression is necessary, that trying to silence and restrain our organizers will work. It won't. We won't stop fighting or struggling until we live in a world that does not have the U.S. empire in it, and I'm proud to lend a hand, to lend an arm in solidarity. From Palestine to the Philippines!
Stop the U.S. war machine!
From Palestine to the Philippines!
Stop the U.S. war machine!
Thank you.
Thank you. Not another nickel! Not another dime! No ways! Thank you.